Good morning from beautiful Brisbane, Australia. How are you this morning? And I totally forgot to stick my earphones in for you today. Let's start this again. Oh my goodness, it's been a crazy night, hasn't it? If you're in Australia, we've had the most, it's been crazy. So I'm just going to start again because crazy has been a bit fear-inducing as well. So good morning from beautiful Brisbane, Australia, and welcome to Complex PTSD TV Live, where we're discussing top 10 ways to increase the compassion curve during this time. Now, it's a really viable question to ask. What is the compassion curve? And we're going to have a quick chat about that. And remember to like, share and subscribe because there are millions of people who are going to need this information now as we go forward into times that can feel very uncertain, can have our brain shutting down from the stress, the pressure overload, okay? And some people will be new to that feeling of that happening and not know how to manage their way through it, and that's okay. None of us are used to anything that's happening right now. Those of us with complex PTSD that have already started on the recovery curve know that we can manage our way through it, and we always learn new ways how to manage our way through it, one day at a time, one step at a time. And I completely understand if the stress overwhelm is happening for you at the moment, especially when we saw all the cues for, in Australia, it's called Centrelink, our government agency, that helps us get through tough times. So in America, think of your provider who does disability. Over here, we have Centrelink, which help us through tough times financially and a number of other ways as well. So because of the social distancing, the queues are at the door now, and millions of people are losing their jobs. But also overnight, we've been told in Queensland that we can't leave the state as well. Fortunately, we live in a massive state, so road trips, everybody, just to get out and break the monotony at home if it's not what you're used to. So what is the compassion curve? I want to talk about how at the moment, so in Australia we're in crisis management, as in we're trying to do everything to avert the crisis. So they talk about the curve and how we are going to reach a stage where our health system could be in overload if people don't do the social distancing. So we want to increase the compassion curve because we're going to need it to get through the next few months at least in interacting with other people. Okay, we're going to be closer to them in some ways, especially if we're housebound with other people that we're not used to spending just about 24 hours, 7 days a week with. Okay, so I want you to think about, I want to give you some language around what you can do, especially if you're an empath as well and you can feel everything that's happening around you, and learning how to manage that in a short amount of time can be challenging. So one of the things we want to be able to do is not try and solve anyone's problems. All right, we don't have solutions at this time, but we can learn how to manage what's happening. So if somebody's stressed, just sit with them and say, I understand. You don't have to explain how you understand. It's the fact that from our heart, I can understand that you're very stressed, because we all are. And it's not a, what do they say, tit for tat. It's not a, I'm more stressed than you. It doesn't work like that. We need the connection to help with the stress overwhelm. Perfect example this morning. I can't go to gym every morning anymore. And I had to manage those emotions yesterday, I can tell you, because I was very afraid. Gym's been a crucial part of my recovery as a practice of getting out of the house and retraining my brain not to go into shutdown every time I left the home. And so I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to keep up with that? And when I went to gym yesterday, I realised how stressed my whole entire system was, because as I went to move on the bike, I could feel how hard it was to move my body. So if you're not sure if the stress overwhelm is getting to you, get outside and try and move your body and see if you actually can get a few breaths in or not. Having someone sit with you and you even saying to them, I just need you to tell me that you understand. So oftentimes now we're going to find that it's not just us teaching someone else what I need, it's also teaching other people how to have the language so that we can communicate more effectively. And I say this tongue in cheek, not want to kill each other, okay? So we want to be kind to each other. We want to say, I can relate, all right? You do, again, not solving the problem, but I can relate. I can really feel how you're feeling, all right? We want to ask, how can I help you? So we want to leave the decision about each other's one next step in that person's, I was going to say decisiveness, but that doesn't really make sense. As you can see, I'm still getting back to being grounded with all the changes, and we can notice that when order is hard, okay? If we are in our day and we're having a hard time putting everything in an order, then our brain, at least part of our brain, is in shutdown as we're trying to navigate how to manage it, all right? So for me, order comes out in language. So I went out this morning, and Nick and I went out at 4:30 this morning to walk, and it was very hard. I was aware that my brain was shutting down, so we went downhill and then we came back uphill, because 40% of what's coming in is visual. It's all new, okay? I haven't been out walking at 4:30 in the morning before, so I'm aware that I'm having to combat my brain wanting to shut down because it's all new, all right? Survival brain's kicked in. What am I going to do? And so I said to Nick, I don't want to stop walking. I need to slow down so I can get some breath in, but I'm aware my brain's going, major freak out, you're out doing something new. But I want to, so I did something different. I said to Nick, I want you to put your hands on my head, and he has long nails. I said, just stimulate my head. You know what? After he did that simple thing, I was like, up walking. And then I got him to do it one other time, and then I made it all the way around. So it's our brain that we're in the battle with, if you will, all right, because of the stress overload. Okay, we want to be able to go into group and use the units as resources as well. We want to get online, okay, we want to increase this compassion curve by getting online and finding resources, chat lines, professional help. Now a lot of professionals are finally getting online and doing their sessions online and realizing that it's doable. All right, so we want to be compassionate, not just for ourselves but for others, and then we want to teach others how to be compassionate as well, because it's not something that's been part of our language. All right, so we can't just go blah and expect people to know how to pick up those pieces for us either. We've got to work to increase that communication, make it effective, and say, all right, I just need to process this at the moment. Or, listen, I'm really... I said to a friend of mine, I've just got a really bad attitude again today, and I need to go do some trauma-informed movement to reconnect my whole brain, and then I won't have such a bad attitude. And it's a good thing to know when our brain shut down, and that's why attitude sucks, and then to get up and do it. Other times, I find that I just need to talk things through to process it, to understand even a better way to think about things or a better way to feel about things. And so imagine, do you know the board game Snakes and Ladders, where it goes up and, curves like that all the way up the board, and then you've got your snakes and ladders. If you get to a ladder, you get to climb up, and if you get to a snake, you get to climb down. Well, imagine the next few months like that. We're going to have times when we're winning and we get ahead, right? We are going to have those times. There's no two ways about it. If you're working on your mental health and it being well, we are going to have those times. If you get to the mouth of a snake and you feel like you've gone backwards, that's okay too, because I often say when I'm sitting back, I'm able to reflect on where I was, I'm able to reflect on where I want to be, and then I can bridge the gap and get there. So going down the mouth of the snake on the board isn't a bad thing. It gives us a better view of our one next step of where we want to fill the gap and get ahead again. So compassion and using analogies to help people understand that it's not about solving the problem right now. It's about what's my one next step to manage this problem. So ask other people if they've got other support as well that they can reach out to. Be honest if you don't know what to do or how to help. It's really, really, really good to say, look, I really care about you. I'm concerned. I don't have the answers, I'm sorry. But if we work together, we're going to find some resources locally. We're going to get online and find some, if they need a chat line professional. We're going to research where to find food locally inexpensive, like a food bank. And we have a number of them in Queensland. So we want to become adept at doing some, sleuthing around the internet to find things, and then getting into a community and saying, hey, and listen, mum communities online are the best, all right, because they get in and source things as well. So join a community that's local to you. So for me, I'd join, Redlands mums pages or groups, and those mums will know the things that you need to do. One of the things you might have to do is start to get comfortable with reaching out and asking for help, because we've been so... we've gone through times where we've become very individual because, and with our coping mechanisms, because, we've had split families, we've moved states, we've moved jobs, we've just had to cope. But now is a great opportunity to get out and reach out to your online community. And those in the complex PTSD healing group know that it's safe, and we know that we can continue to reach out for what we need. So you want to find a group like that of mums in your local area so you can resource together as well. And if you're a dad, oh my goodness, if you're a dad, start one locally and get all the guys together and start putting together resources. And especially on Facebook, you can set up a social group and you can put units in, and that way you're providing information for people locally to you. And you're going to find that the connectedness that you get from an online community is a really special place that gives you a lot of strength to get up and do the one next thing as well. Our global community, we do this already. We've been doing it for 5 years now. But there are lots of other communities who can do this well, or start one in your local area, because when we do this kind of thing, we increase our compassion curve for all of those around us, okay? And we never know the one next person that we're helping, and that's all that we need to think about is whatever I'm doing now is going to help one person. I may never know, but let's get in and do it, all right? Remember that we're not professionals, but we can reach out and seek professionals who work online so that people can get the help they need as well. Our mental health is going to be one of our greatest challenges. And I'm constantly putting together different ideas for us, over this time so that we can have increased mental health and not have our mental health go into the decline. One of the most important things to increase the compassion curve is ask questions, all right? I want you to get used to asking people questions, and it's something that I have to practice all the time. Trust me. I have to remember to ask questions, not assume that I can just see what somebody needs, all right? It empowers our children, it empowers the adults around us that they can come up with creative solutions as well. And if you've got complex PTSD, get creative, all right? Just do whatever it takes to get a bit creative in your day. Even if you've got kids at home, get creative and get them involved in whatever you need to do as well. And I found a post by a mum, which I'll put up in the Facebook feed, about how to structure your day if you're working from home and you're a mum or a parent as well. So I will keep looking for resources for you as well. Okay? So let's do this. Let's do our one next step. Let's work out how we can manage it. Let's get our brain off shutdown and make this a really healthy time ahead for us, despite the fear and the stress of it wanting to shut our brain down. Okay? It's a very real thing, and we can do this together. Remember, you are loved, and I will see you again tomorrow morning. Bye for now.